Screenshots of YouTube comments. Recently, I asked you all to pick a new pole move for me to learn since it's been a while since I made a standalone video focused on just one trick. The responses that got the most votes both mentioned Allegra, so that's what I went with. I searched pole dance Allegra on YouTube and was immediately confused. Here's an image of 3 thumbnails which look like 3 different moves to my eye. Also, I got some names mixed up in my head and thought that you meant for me to learn the Aisha, which is an upside down move with your legs in a V, so I was sitting here going, this looks nothing like I thought. After sorting out that confusion, I took it to the pole room. On June 28th, a conditioning day, I practiced some inside leg hangs. It was clear that I would need a strong inside leg hang to even have a chance at this move. It's also clear to me that inside leg hangs hurt like the devil. I try for a chopper invert straight into an inside leg hang on each side and slide awkwardly down. My head always ends up super close to the ground in these as well, which just isn't going to work for this move, and most times I bail out of an inside leg hang by just skidding to the ground, ripping off all my skin along the way. On July 2nd, I set my pole to spin and got to work. I wear a mustard yellow top and ketchup red bottoms. I reach up with my arms, then hop up into an inversion, missing the leg hang but instead going for a sloppy reverse crucifix. These inversions may seem a little wonky to you. I found a tutorial for the Allegra in which the instructor pulled her body halfway up the pole and then inverted, instead of my usual style of pulling and bringing my legs up from the ground at the same time. I needed to get myself high enough so I had space to work with. On my 3rd attempt, the inversion was clean and I performed a switch from an outside leg hang to an inside leg hang. Great! I knew my inside hand had to catch the pole sort of under the hanging leg, and I thought my torso needed to twist around to hook my outside elbow so I could catch my outside foot. However, once you're upside down, thinking through all those different motions is like, what's happening? I struggle to bring my torso towards the pole, then slide to the floor and heave a few deep breaths. Next, I tried the aerial invert approach. I am still quite new to these, so the first go-round did not quite work. I climb once, then bring my legs up in a chopper and spin semi-helplessly, struggling to hook the outside leg to the pole. When I finally got my inside leg hang, it was a mere 2 inches from the ground. That would not work. Sorry for the vertical video, but I actually got a pretty aerial inversion! From a spinning climb, I bring my legs up in a quickly corrected chopper. I got my leg switches in, but when my outside hand started searching for the pole behind me, is it even supposed to go behind? It's so hard to tell when you're actually doing the move. It hit the ground, which killed my momentum and my buzz. I grimace in pain and grab my knees. I gave it another valiant attempt, but I was actually dripping sweat by that point, so it was never gonna work. I perform a leg switch that quickly leads to me slipping down to crouch breathlessly on the mat. Well, I pulled out my pole tricks book to look at the entry for the Allegra and realized that the torso twist I was struggling with is actually not part of this trick. I think that's something you do in a broken doll. The Allegra is actually like this. The inside leg is straight, the inside hand holds the pole just outside it, the outside hand reaches back to catch the outside foot with that leg bent, so your body almost makes a diamond shape. No twist. Keeping that in mind, I tried again on July 5th at the tail end of a conditioning session, so the pole is set to static, which you all know I hate. I do my jump to invert again, surprising myself by going straight into an inside leg hang. I actually catch my outside foot with my outside hand for a brief second, but the rest of my body is scrunched in the wrong position. It appears I'll actually be able to grab my foot if I get everything else right, but doing inside leg hangs on a static pole feels to me like purposefully stabbing myself right in the rib cage. The other side was even worse rib pain. I attempt a leg switch but keep at least one hand on at all times. I slide painfully to the floor, then stand up, clutching my ribs. On July 8th, I steeled myself for another attempt. I felt good. I felt confident. The pole was on spin, I managed to do an aerial invert and got my leg switches down. I asked a friend for advice about this trick and they said to trust the inside hand that grabs the pole, so I did. I caught my outside foot in my outside hand. I stalled out at the worst possible angle. straightened my inside leg, and plummeted to the mat. I flopped back onto my elbows and grimaced before pushing back up to my feet. I did it though, so it was time to get it on the other side before I could officially call this trick a success. I gave myself a bigger push for a little more spin and performed a pretty decent aerial invert if I do say so myself. I learned the lesson last time that straightening that inside leg feels pretty spooky and unstable, so I prepared for that feeling and to trust the hand. That knowledge still did not stop me from once again plunging back down. My feet and butt slap onto the mat. I stand wobbly, then strike a victorious pose. I officially got the trick on both sides, but it occurred to me that adding heels might actually make this easier since I could grab onto the stiletto with my outside hand instead of reaching for my ankle. I almost snap my ankles off as I stumble across the mat in my towering heels. Yes, wearing heels on a mat is very stupid, but I'm not down to do this trick without a mat below me. After a pretty clean aerial invert and an outside leg hang, I whipped my inside leg around, got it into position with some hand finagling, and easily grabbed my heel. And then lost control and yeeted myself back down to the mat. As a grand finale, here is the same thing. Oh, and I made it. Okay, as a grand finale, here's the same thing you've seen 4 times in a row now, but dang it, it's rare that I actually get a move on both sides during a single session, and far rarer to be able to do it multiple times, so I was soaking it in. I'll keep working on exiting the move safely and cleanly, but for now, I'm all in on the Allegra. Bye! Exhausted, I dance around. The subscribe button appears on the right, a suggested video and playlist appear on the left.